The Inquisitorius program was secretly started during the events of the Clone Wars and came into prominence after the events of Order 66. Palpatine knew that his planned empire would need powerful enforcers to handle potential problems that could threaten his rule, and so much like his apprentice Count Dooku, he decided to create a program that would give him an arsenal of Force-sensitive assassins once his plans came into fruition. To start, Palpatine implemented spies into the ranks of the Jedi Order to find potential candidates for the Inquisitor program, watching them, biding time, and inciting dissonance inside the Jedi Order. A key figure of his plan was a former Jedi Temple Guard who was personally selected by Palpatine to take charge of the Inquisitor program, as his frustrations with the Jedi reached their breaking point and he became wholly loyal to the birthing Empire. This Jedi, who was otherwise unremarkable, received the title of Grand Inquisitor and was tasked with increasing the numbers of the Inquisitorius by any means. Soon after Order 66, the Grand Inquisitor was introduced to his new master, as Palpatine instated Darth Vader as Governor of the Inquisitorius, either as a punishment or a test for his new apprentice. Vader, in a way, was granted a diluted form of his wish of being a master on the Council, but now his disciples would bring only pain. And rather quickly, the Inquisitorius sprang into action. They immediately acted upon years of data gathered from their spies. Jedi intentionally spared during Order 66 for this exact purpose were brought in alive to face the tests of the Grand Inquisitor. Some Jedi were tortured, some were killed if they could not adapt, and those who submitted willingly faced challenges pushing them towards darkness, testing their skill to determine if they belonged amongst their ranks. The Jedi turned Inquisitors, who survived to pledge their loyalty, were then armored and outfitted to pursue their ultimate task: to hunt down and kill the remaining Jedi throughout the galaxy, and to put an end to the Jedi Order once and for all. But while their primary goal was to kill a Jedi by any means, the Inquisitors would be used for far more than that. Quickly, Palpatine and Vader saw that they could be used as tools of the Empire, and the Inquisitors would be utilized both to dispose of political dissidents and to find Force-sensitive children, aiding in the operations of Project Harvester. Their own Force sensitivity allowing them to find targets with ease, taking out the political adversaries of the Empire, and in time growing their ranks further with Force-sensitives supplied for their master's plans. During the reign of the Empire, before the events of the original trilogy, there were many Inquisitors and no definable number known, each Inquisitor taking the moniker of a number and a title of brother or sister depending on their gender. The Inquisitors were granted high-ranking authority over much of the Empire's operation, and with that came enhanced tools and equipment. Each Inquisitor was equipped with a unique armor, custom-made for their new position, and a unique style, the core design principle of the armor undergoing much of the same design process as the Stormtrooper armor, the main goal being to instill fear into their enemies, an endeavor which ultimately succeeded. All Inquisitors were also given a special-made, double-bladed lightsaber with the ability to spin at rapid speeds. These sabers were purposely selected by the Grand Inquisitor to increase the deadliness of an Inquisitor in combat without necessitating an increase in their skills, allowing them to play to the strength of the weapon, tilting the scale in favor of the Inquisitors as they attack with a never-ending onslaught of lightsaber blades. This would be highly necessary for the Inquisitors because none of them were going to be trained to the point of being able to threaten a true Jedi Master without a few dirty tricks up their sleeves. This was an intentional move by Palpatine to reduce the risk rogue Inquisitors could pose to his operations, but it was also just a natural consequence of the Inquisitorius recruitment pipeline, which primarily targeted children and underperforming Jedi. On top of this equipment, the Inquisitors had access to experimental vehicles, as well as highly trained troopers to accompany them on their missions per their request. The Purge Troopers, having been created specifically for the Inquisitors using clone troopers in the early stages of the Empire, were the primary assets in this case, though later batches of Purge Troopers would transition to using advanced Stormtrooper candidates instead of clones, following the rest of Project Warmantle. As a standing order, any Imperial units who came into contact with Force-sensitive creatures were required by the Inquisitorius to report the instance to an Inquisitor, often leading to a swift response from the Inquisitorius program. The Inquisitors had the power to take command of any Imperial military forces they chose in order to complete their tasks, and all officers and troopers were required to obey the orders of the Inquisitorius should they take charge. The program had mixed successes and failures. Many Jedi and political leaders died at the hands of the Inquisitors, and an unfortunate number of Force-sensitive children were taken by the ranks of the Inquisitorius. But with each of the successes of the Empire came many failures. For starters, the Inquisitors were hated by most of the Empire. Too often would the arrival of an Inquisitor escalate a situation, and more often than not lead to the deaths of Imperial officers and troopers. Because the Inquisitors were given the power to take over Imperial forces to prioritize their mission, this forced many vital Imperial operations to take a sudden halt when Inquisitors arrived. And due to the nature of the Inquisitors' work and the means at which they were trained, they would often mishandle their resources and take on challenges recklessly. Though not always the case, Inquisitors arriving often spelled death for local Imperials, and so resentment among Imperials grew each time a hate-filled Inquisitor rolled in and started killing civilians and loyal soldiers alike. So what happened to the Inquisitors? Well, most died. Actually, most died even before the Emperor did. But that just left the strong ones, and those that remained after the fall of the Empire typically found themselves attached to various Imperial warlords. The most famous example being Merrick, who found himself tied to Morgan Elsbeth and later tied to Baylan Skoll, a Dark Jedi working for Grand Admiral Thrawn. This still doesn't work out great for him, but that's just par for the course as far as Inquisitors go. It's still better than most of his colleagues who died in a hate-filled pursuit of various Jedi remnants across the galaxy. Though there are still a few examples of Inquisitors who turned back to the light, and as such, were able to find peace. Thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking our videos. It goes a long way to help us make more content. If you enjoyed, check out the other Imperial Secret Project episodes and many more College of Lore videos on our specially curated playlist shown right here. As always, my name is Sam, and this has been College of Lore. May the Force be with you.